Hey there, Aurelie here from withhisgifts.com. Welcome and thank you for stopping by. Today I have another video tutorial for you and we are going to create this lovely card. So let's get started. The stamp set that I'm using today is the Flourishing Phrases stamp set along with the coordinating Flourish Thinlits dies. This is one of my favorite bundles that came in the new catalog. Okay, we'll also be using the Layering Circles Framelits dies and the Brick Wall embossing folder. For our ink colors, we'll be using Crumb Cake and Sahara Sand. For my paper, I have my card base in Crumb Cake that is cut at 4 1/4 by 11 and is scored at 5 1/2. A layer of the soft suede cut at 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. A layer of the Irresistibly Floral Designer Series paper cut at 4 by 5 1/4. I have half of a delicate doily. I have a piece from the Serene Scenery Designer Series paper pack, and that is cut at 2 by 3 1/2. Piece of Whisper White cut at 2 by 4 1/4. Then I have some scrap paper or cardstock. A piece of Crumb Cake, roughly 4 1/2 by 4 1/2. Whisper White, roughly 3 by 3, and then a small little strip of my Peekaboo Peach. Okay, and some of the other things that we'll be using today are Snail Adhesive, the Fine Tip Glue Pen, multi-purpose liquid glue, glue dots, Scotch tape, sponge dauber, sponge, scissors, distress tool, some burlap ribbon, and some Ruched ribbon in the Peekaboo Peach. I'm going to go ahead and get started with getting all my big shot work out of the way. So for that I have my magnetic platform. I have an acrylic plate here. I have the scrap piece of the Whisper White and the scrap piece of the Crumb Cake. I am going to use this die here from the Flourish Thinlits. I'm going to set that right about there, cut that in my Crumb Cake, and then I am going to use this, yeah, it's this one. So for my layering circles, I'm going to use that one here and put that right there. I'm going to put my top plate on here. I'm going to run this through my Big Shot, and while I'm at my Big Shot, I'm going to go ahead and take my 2 by 4 1/4 Whisper White paper, and I'm going to also run that through the Big Shot, but through the Brick Wall embossing folder. So I will run those through my Big Shot and be right back. Okay, so here are the pieces. Here's my die. Look how gorgeous that is. That I cut from the Flourish Thinlit die, and then my circle, and then the piece that I ran through the Brick Wall embossing folder. So I'm going to set these aside for now, and then I am going to go ahead and grab my Irresistibly Floral Designer Series paper and my Sahara Sand ink pad, along with my sponge dauber, and I am just going to rub my ink over the entire front of this. That's what she looks like after that step. The next thing I'm going to do is go ahead and grab my distressing tool, and I'm going to distress the edges. Okay, and that's what it looks like after it's been distressed. I'm going to go ahead and grab the Crumb Cake and sponge, and I am going to just sponge around the edges like so. That's what it looks like now. This is all set. This layer is done. I'm going to set this aside, and I'm going to go ahead and grab the soft suede, and I'm going to go ahead and just distress the edges. Go ahead and also sponge with my crumb cake the edges of this. Okay, and that layer is done. We'll also set this aside. So the next thing that I'm going to grab is the piece of Whisper White that we ran through the brick wall embossing folder. I'm going to grab my dauber and the Sahara sand, and I am going to go and ink around my edges first, like so. All the way around. Okay, so we've made it all the way around. Now I'm just going to lightly go in the middle with my ink and sponge, just like that. Okay, and then I am going to also distress this a little bit. Then I will be grabbing my sponge and the crumb cake and bringing that around the edges, like so. Okay, so that's what this piece looks like. The next piece that I'm going to grab is my circle here. I did get some ink on there, but that's fine because we are going to distress it anyhow. So with my sponge and my crumb cake, I'm going around like so. So I'm going to go ahead and stamp my sentiment, and for that I'm going to use just a note, and actually this is the only stamp that we're using from the stamp set, and I am stamping that in the crumb cake. So let me get that ready, and I will be stamping this a little bit towards the top, because this will be tucked in behind my ribbon, so just like that. Alrighty, let's set that over there. Next piece that I'm grabbing is the piece from the Serene Scenery, and I'm just going to rough up the edges and then ink around. And I'm just doing 3 sides here because one side's going to be tucked in underneath, so no point in doing that side. So just like that. And then my sponge around the edges, like so, because sponging makes everything better. It really does. Okay. Alrighty. Let's see. I think that we are ready to assemble. I think we've got all our pieces and we are ready. So let's start with these 2 pieces here. Okay, and I am going to go ahead and grab my snail and then apply some snail to the back of this, and then mount these 2 together like so. Okay, I'm gonna do this. I mean, whenever you are distressing paper, it's good to give it a little extra help, you know, for the adhesive to do its job. So that's what I'm doing here. Okay, so that's that. Next, I am going to take my burlap ribbon and Scotch tape. I'm gonna grab 2 pieces of tape. I'm going to put this across the bottom like so. Okay. Then I'm going to, and actually this is a little bit long, so I'm going to cut off a little bit. I don't want a lot of bulk behind my card, so I'm going to grab my scissors and just cut off just a little bit, so that there's not a lot of bulk. Okay, that looks better. So okay, so right about there, I mean, that's about maybe the bottom of my ribbon is probably about 1.25 inches or so from the bottom. So let me get my tape and tape this down like so. Then I'm going to do the same to the other side. Okay? Like that. Tape it down. Alrighty. There we go. So, is that straight? Yep, that's straight. That looks good to me. Now we have some of the Peekaboo Peach Ruched ribbon. I have a piece here that is about 6 inches and then another piece about 10 inches. I'm going to take my 6-inch piece and I'm going to layer that on top of the burlap that we just put down, right down the middle. So I will do that and put some behind like that. And this side here, same thing, tape it down like that. Okay, so there is what we have so far. Okay, now what I want to do is I am going to, my half doily and this here are going to mount just like that. So I'm going to take my snail and I'm going to put it on the side that I didn't distress. I'm going to put that on the back of that, and then I'm going to marry these two pieces together like so. Okay. Then I'm going to put some more like that. And I'm going to go ahead and tuck this under my ribbon like so. And then kind of center it a little bit like that. Just like that. The next thing that I'm going to grab is my brick wall piece. And I'm going to get some snail behind that. Okay, and because this is embossed, you want to make sure you have adhesive on all 4 sides so it sticks down. I'm going to tuck that underneath my ribbon and kind of center it just like so. Okay? And again, I'm going to turn this around and make sure that I give that adhesive a little extra help so that it does its job. Like that. Okay, and then I'm gonna go ahead and attach this to my card base and then we'll finish it up in a minute. So here's my card base. Remember the crumb cake. Grab my bone folder like that, and because there's so much stuff going on here and behind here, I'm going to go ahead and use my liquid glue, and I'm using the, I don't know what this tip is, the big tip, and I'm kind of squeezing it, and I will spread this around. So this is gonna ensure that this piece stays put, and if I don't go all the way to the edge, I'm fine with that. The edge is distressed, so if it's not down all the way, I'm good with that. So applying it all the way like so. Okay, and then I'm going to grab this and then put it on my card base like so. Okay, the liquid glue also gives you a little bit of time to make sure you have stuff where you want it. Okay, all right, so that is down. What I'm gonna do is flip this over. I'm gonna take my brayer and I am going to give this a little bit of help to make sure that it's down flat, just like that. Okay, So this is down, and when it dries, and it'll dry quickly, it won't go anywhere. Okay, so here we go. Everything's all attached and good. So the next thing that we want to do is to grab this little flourish, and we're gonna tuck it in behind my ribbon here. And for that, I'm gonna use my fine tip glue pen. Always squeeze out a little bit to make sure I get the air out. I'm gonna turn this around, and I'm gonna kind of go down the stem. So I'll go down the entire stem here, okay? And then maybe a little bit, because it's not gonna, I don't want it to be completely glued down. I want it to have some dimension. So I'm just applying a little bit of glue going out from the stem, just a little bit, like that, okay? So next I'm going to grab it, and I am going to tuck this in. And if you get glue while you're doing this on the front of your card, that's fine. This just dries clear, so no one will know, no one will see. It'll be our little secret. So okay, so now I'm pressing down my stem like that, okay? There we go. And the next thing that I'm going to do, I'm going to tuck this in right about there. And for that, I'm just going to take a couple of glue dots, and I'm going to just put a couple on the bottom, like so. Okay? And then we'll tuck that in right about here. And push it down like that. Isn't that gorgeous? The next thing I'm going to do is grab the scrap piece of the Peekaboo Peach, and using the 1/8 hole on my Crop-A-Dial, I am going to go ahead and punch 3 of these little things, and then I'm going to use the little circle that this punch leaves behind. Just like that. I'm going to go ahead and grab my little block and make sure that they're flat. Okay. Then I'm going to grab my fine tip glue pen, and I'm going to put some dots right in the corner like so. I don't know what happened to my tweezer, so I'm going to have to use my fingers like so. They will show up the minute I'm done filming this video. I guarantee it. They always do. Okay, so once they're down, I'm going to move them around a little bit. I want them closer together, like so. Okay, then push down like that. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my fine tip glue pen, and let's see if I can zoom in a little bit, I don't know, so that you can see what I'm about to do. I am going to apply some glue right over the top of each of these dots, and when that dries, it'll look like a nice little gem, just like that. Okay, so now that's gonna take a little bit to dry. Oops, wrong way. There we go. Alrighty, so the last thing that we have to do is take the other piece of the Peekaboo Peach, and we're going to tuck it in underneath the Peekaboo Peach that's already on my card, just like that. I am going to tie a knot and then a bow. Okay, let's tie a bow. And then of course there's always that play with your bow time before you get it right. Okay, that looks good to me. And there you have it, super duper easy, super duper quick, and super duper elegant. So make sure to jot down the supply list down below, then head on over to my website at withhisgifts.com and place your order today so you can make these beautiful cards at home. And if you don't already have a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, I would love the opportunity to earn your business. Check me out at withhisgifts.com and hit me up with any questions that you have. And while you're there, don't forget to subscribe to get my blog updates so you won't miss a thing. I am happy to say that I launched my first class in the mail and it was a success. Thank you to everyone who ordered my class and helped to make it a success. I really do appreciate you. Be sure to look out for the next class, which will be coming up the first week of July. Thank you so much for stopping by. If you enjoyed this video tutorial, please give me a thumbs up and leave me a comment down below. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Until next time, thank you and have a great day.